Hello?
Good evening. I'm Judge Shayette. I heard someone say hello. Who was that?
My name's Dr. Washington.
All right. And are you the victim in one of these matters?
Yes, I am.
Which matter?
For Daniel Contas.
Look around the fence.
Daniel Contreras?
Yes.
Okay. I will ask you to excuse yourself for now,
Okay.
but I will call on you to see your input on what's called conditions of release, not on what occurred or didn't occur, but whether or not you want contact with him, you want him to return to your residence, that sort of thing. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
And Your Honor, this is the Spanish interpreter. I saw there were no Spanish speakers on the list, but I don't know if that's been verified.
It has not yet been verified, so let me wait till we've got the jail live and I'll
Got
check.
it. Okay, thanks.
Where?
I need your files 1 through 4. You can just put them up here, that's fine. Well, but 1 through 4, I don't need recommendations. Thank you. In jail,
Yes, Your Honor.
yeah, can you double check and confirm for me that there are no Spanish speakers?
Anybody in here speak Spanish? Only?
Just check with the other group, Your Honor.
Please, thank you. All right, good evening. I'm Judge Shayette and you are
Miranda Gallagan.
Ms. Gallagan. Citations charging you with domestic violence assault and domestic violence criminal damage. Your next court date on this matter is going to be September the 30th at 10 o'clock in the morning in the Miranda City Court. Do you understand that you need to be present at that time?
Yes, Your Honor.
Between now and then, no acts of domestic violence, and you need to do what you can about obtaining a behavioral health assessment and following through with any recommended treatment. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Right? Thank you, Ms. Gallagan.
Down there.
Your Honor, no one is claiming to need a Spanish interpreter tonight.
Thank you. Leonora, you may be excused. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Good night.
We'll contact you if we need you, but good evening. I'm Judge Shayette and you, sir, are
Darius Blake Gillary.
Mr. Gillary. Current citation
Yes, ma'am.
charging you with domestic violence violation of a court order. yet again.
Yeah, I misunderstood the whole. I thought it was I could go but not stay as long as I had her consent in order
No.
to get my things out of there. So I apologize for that, ma'am.
Well, you were just told yesterday not to do that. Your next court
I
date
know.
is going to be September the 4th at noon. Your bond is now $2,499. You have absolutely no contact with Brandy. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am. It's okay. I found a place to live, so I don't need contacts with her anymore. Come on, but
You don't go to her residence or work. Janet Altscher is appointed to represent you.
yes, ma'am.
Out of custody, you need to obtain behavioral health and substance abuse assessment and treatment, no alcohol or illegal drugs, no firearms or weapons. And your bond, because this is a repetitive offense at this point, is $2,499. Right?
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Gillary.
Hello.
Lopez. Have a swear hand for our purpose. Randall. Randall.
Step one, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step two, get some good, some food in you. Step three, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step four, everybody just do your thing. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up.
Good evening, I'm Judge Shane, and you, sir.
Richard Lopez.
Mr. Lopez, I have a number of things here for you. We'll start with current charges of possession of paraphernalia. Alleged occurred earlier today. Your next court date on this is going to be on Tuesday at 1 o'clock. Bond is $100. Carlos Betancourt Morales is appointed to represent you. Out of custody, you need to work on obtaining behavioral health and substance abuse assessment and treatment. You possess no alcohol or illegal drugs, violate no laws, which would include the possession of any paraphernalia. Do you understand that?
Yes.
And I have quite a stack of files here for you out of Tucson City Court. I have charges for shoplifting from December 10th of 2022. $3128 North First, along with failures to appear. I have charges from November the 8th of 2022 for obstruction and criminal trespass, along with failures to appear. Charges possession of paraphernalia, December 13th of 2022. Charges for criminal trespass, January 22nd of 2023, failing to appear. Charges for possession of paraphernalia on September the 8th of 2023. Failures to appear. Criminal trespass October 20th of 2023. Failures to appear. Criminal trespass from January 25th of this year. Failure to appear.
Oh.
We've got new charges. Where are those? Oh, yeah, you're right. Okay. Hold on. And you want to repeat your name again for me, sir? I'm sorry.
Richard Lopez.
Sorry, I was giving you some bad information. So. I need to. Sorry. My error. Thank you for catching it. All right. Let's start over again. I have a number of things here for you, Mr. Lopez. I have a warrant out of Pima County Justice Court for shoplifting, August the 11th of 2022, failing to appear in court. So Carlos Betancourt Morales to represent you on these charges. Bond is $100. Your court date will be Tuesday at 2 o'clock, as I said before. You're not to return to the incident location for this shoplifting. You're not to possess any alcohol or illegal drugs. Then I have a stack of misdemeanors out of city court, just a slightly different list than what I gave you before. We have current charges for domestic violence assault and possession of paraphernalia. On these matters, we'll appoint okay, I also have charges from December 11th of last year for camping in the park. 320 North Grande. 3 counts of possession of paraphernalia, August the 15th of this year, failing to appear on August the 28th. Charges for criminal trespass on May 1st of last year. There's a lot of background noise over there that's bleeding over.
Good, I apologize about that. One of the new arrestees was sneezing.
It was more than that, but okay, thank you. And charges for possession of paraphernalia on October the 22nd of last year. And again, failing to appear in court. Unit court date is January the 11th at 1:30. City Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you on these charges. Your bond is $250. No alcohol, illegal drugs, no acts of domestic violence, no contact with Ms. Delgado. You don't go to 320 to her residence or workplace, to 325 North Grande or 5402 East 30th. If you're out of custody, you need to engage in substance abuse assessment and any recommended treatment. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Lopez.
We'll have a seat back down there in the lower level. Yeah, no.
Good evening. I'm Judge Shade and you are
Eugene Nieto.
Mr. Nieto. I have a number of things here for you. Current citations charging you with possession of paraphernalia. Because of your failure to appear history, I'm going to appoint Carlos Betancourt to represent you on these charges. Hold you on a $100 bond. Court date will be Tuesday, the 3rd at 1 o'clock.
What happened? The
Right. I also have a number of files here for you out of Tucson City Court. Current charges from August the 14th for criminal trespass, failing to appear. Charges for criminal trespass on January 25th of this year, failure to appear.
Why? I don't hear anything you're saying.
I also have charges from October the 20th of last year for criminal trespass, failing to appear in court. Charges for possession of paraphernalia on September the 8th of last year, failure to appear in court. Charges from November 22nd of last year for criminal trespass. 4036 North First, failure to appear. Possession of paraphernalia, December 13th of 2022, failure to appear in court. Charges from November 8th of 2022, criminal trespass and failing to provide truthful name, failing to appear in court. And additional charges of theft, shoplifting from the
I mean, hear me.
2022 and failures to appear in court.
I don't know that many fucking.
Right. Well, we're going to appoint the city public defender's office to represent you on these charges. Hold you on a $250 bond. If you post the bond, your court date is October the 8th at 9 o'clock in the morning. If you've not posted the bond, you'll be seen on September 10th at about 1:45. You're not returned to 3128 North First, to any Circle Ks, to 4036 North First, 3640 North First, or 3200 North First. And if you're out of custody, substance abuse assessment and treatment. Understand that?
No, I don't understand that. Why do I have a $250 bond?
Because you have failed to come to court better than a half a
Yeah,
dozen times.
But half a dozen times, that's way too many times. I haven't got pulled over. You got that many tickets.
Well, I beg to differ with you because I've got them here, sitting here with your name on it.
Fucking bullshit.
All right, thank you, Mr. Nato.
Yeah, so do I get to go home or no? Do I have to stay here?
Well, you've got a $100 bond on the justice court matter and a $250 bond on the city court matter. If you post the bonds, then you'll be released. Other than that, you need to wait till your court dates.
Contreras.
Good evening, I'm Judge Shade, and you, sir, are,
Contreras.
you want to repeat that, please?
Daniel Contreras.
Mr. Contreras, citations charging you with unlawful imprisonment and criminal damage, both with domestic violence notations.
Everything I was showing you.
And Ms. Washington, did you wish to be heard on conditions of release?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that.
Did you wish to be heard on conditions of release?
Yes,
Okay. Remember, not talking about facts of cases, just whether or not it's okay for him to have contact with you and return to the residence.
okay, ma'am.
So go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were gonna ask me questions. Well, I would love for him to come back home.
Okay.
I don't have anything against him not coming home.
All right. All right, Mr. Contreras, your next court date is going to be the 8th of October at 1:45 in the afternoon in the Tucson City Court. Do you understand you need to be present at that time?
Yes, Your Honor.
The conditions of release, you remain within the state of Arizona, you don't violate any laws. All right, thank you. All right.
I had a question. If would I have to pick him up?
It'll probably be a couple of hours before he's released and processed, but yes.
Okay. And there's no way we can get a time.
I can't give you an exact time.
Okay, that's okay. Thank you, Your Honor.
It just often takes a while.
Oh, stole my walker. I can't walk. Get down.
Oh, thank you.
Good evening, I'm Judge Shade, and you, sir, are,
James Davis.
Mr. Davis, I have several things here for you. I have current citations for criminal trespass and drinking in public alleged occurred earlier today. And I also have charges that go back to, looks like June of 2018 for drinking in public and failing to appear in court.
2018.
Understand.
Yep, and then another charge from 2017 for criminal trespass and failing to appear in court on more than one occasion. Your next court date on these is going to be the 9th of October at 9 o'clock in the morning in the Tucson City Court. Do you understand that you need to be present at that time?
Yes.
Conditions of release, in addition to standard conditions, you don't go back to Walmart and you don't consume any alcohol. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Mr. Stewart.
My name's not Mr. Stewart.
I'm gonna help you. I'll get you processed.
Hmm?
Marvel,
Yeah, good one.
Wait, see right there.
Oh, sorry.
Just have a seat. Are felonies next?
Huh?
Are felonies next? True.
No. We've got several misdemeanors left.
Thank you. Yeah. So long as sir.
Good evening, I'm Judge Shade, and you, sir, are
What's your name?
Jason Drew?
Mr. Drew. I have new charges for you. Charges for criminal trespass, Circle K on West Grant.
Yes.
Looks like you've picked up 2 sets of charges since I saw you last week.
Yes.
Well, I'll appoint the City Public Defender's Office to represent you on these. This time I'm gonna hold you on a bond, though.
Okay.
You don't have to go to any Circle K stores. Your next court date is September the 9th at 1:45. Right, thank you, Mr. Drew.
Your Honor, what's the bond?
250.
Thank you. 250.
Shut up. Stand up.
No.
Stand as many chair, please.
When you get you in the room, you have to be right.
Good evening, I'm Judge Shade, and you, sir, are
Jared Wade Chuck?
Mr. Shuck. I have current charges for criminal trespass and possession of paraphernalia, 3325 North First. I have charges from November 10th of 2023. Criminal trespass, possession of paraphernalia, along with failures to appear. Charges possession of paraphernalia on 7/15 of 23. Failures to appear. including after I released you on July the 8th. Charges for possession of paraphernalia on August the 2nd of last year. Failures to appear.
Was it?
Charges from August 21st of last year. Possession of paraphernalia. Failures to appear. We've got 3 more files from 2023, 4 more files from 2024, all with failures to appear, including most recently after you were in custody for about 10 days or so. You were released, promised me that you would appear, and you did not.
Executive question.
Bond is $250. Your next court date will be September the 10th. At 1:45. If you post that bond, it's October the 2nd at 2 o'clock. No alcohol, illegal drugs, and substance abuse assessment and treatment. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
But go ahead and stand up.
Yes.
That's
Doesn't make sense. What's the deal? Two victims. Three. And
There's a lot on the window.
Good evening. I'm Judge Shade, and you, sir, are? Your name, sir?
This is Valenzuela.
What area?
Mr. Valenzuela. He's charging you with 2 counts of domestic violence disorderly conduct.
What?
Alleged occurred earlier today. Your next court date on this matter is going to be September 23rd at 9 o'clock in the morning in the Tucson City Court. Do you understand that you need to be present at that time?
Yes.
I will release you on certain conditions. No alcohol or illegal drugs. Do you understand that?
Yes.
And no acts of domestic violence. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Right? Thank you, Mr. Valenzuela.
All my felonies.
Yardman. Yeah. Yardman.
Why on question for this one? Why?
I'm done. I'm ready.
Felonies are all just. No. With the felony, it goes to justice. Always. No exceptions on felonies.
Your Honor, please waive reading of the charges for this defendant.
Good evening, I'm Judge Shade, and you are?
I am Brandy Yarman.
Right. Ms. Jarman, your attorney has waived reading on this matter. I'll appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you on these charges. And did either counsel wish to be heard on conditions?
I would just note the nature of the offense. That's the basis for the state's recommendation.
And yes, Your Honor, she has no prior criminal history. It looks like she's lived in Tucson for a year, so she's established here. The allegation does not involve violence towards the child. The child was removed and put in DCS custody so she can return to her residence with no contact there at this time. She's willing to abide by any conditions of release. I'd ask the court to consider pretrial services. If the court is inclined to post a bond, I'd ask that it be $5,000.
Preliminary hearing date will be September the 10th. Bond will be $10,000. If the bond is posted, you'll be under the supervision of pretrial services. Conditions of release will include no alcohol or illegal drugs, no acts of domestic violence, no firearms or weapons, behavioral health assessment and treatment, no contact with the alleged victim except through DCS, no contact with Darius Gillary, period. And you don't go to the victim's residence except with DCS approval. And you do not leave the state of Arizona. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor, I understand.
Right. Thank you, Ms. Jyman. Suggest you not discuss this matter with anyone except your attorney.
Your Honor, was the public defender appointed?
Yes.
So you're on other times. But I'm back. I will see you on this one, sir.
Good evening. I'm Judge Shade, and you, sir, are
Mr. Ostrankanta.
Mr. Alcantara. I have a warrant here for you out of Pima County Superior Court,
Yes, ma'am.
charging you with possession of dangerous drugs, possession of narcotic drugs, and possession of paraphernalia, alleged occurred on or about the 4th of June.
Yes, ma'am.
We'll appoint public defender's office to represent you on these charges, and did either counsel wish to be heard on conditions?
No, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor. In this case, it looks like the summons returned to sender, and he may not have been aware of the court date. It looks like a personal use offense for the warrant. He's a lifelong resident of Tucson and has ties to the community. He's currently employed. I'd ask you set the bond on the warrant at $500.
Arraignment date is June the 6th at 1:30. Bond is $500. Cash is secured. If you post the bond, you'll be distributing a pretrial services, no alcohol or illegal drugs, and you'll participate in behavioral health and substance abuse assessment and treatment.
And,
Right?
I don't know. I have a job and everything. My mom passed away. My wife passed away. I have nobody. So I was gonna see. I'm gonna lose my job at my house. Yeah, I was gonna ask you, I don't have the money, man.
Given that this is a warrant and we have new charges,
I didn't get that. I didn't get nothing, man, because
but we've got new charges as well.
okay.
However, the state is dismissing the new charges at this time. They may refile them at a later date. So be sure that pretrial services always has your address and that you stay in touch with pretrial services and your attorney. Thank you, Mr. Lopez.
You'll get released.
June 6th.
Cory,
It's on there. Can you read it?
see the home run check, please.
June 6th. Here.
Your Honor, what was his court date? I had written down June
At
would be
1:30.
next year. June 6th?
September 6th.
September 6th. Thank you.
I will triple check it, but yeah, 9/6.
Thank you.
Good evening, I'm Judge Shade and you are.
Cory Bahart.
Ms. Mahart, I have an interim complaint charging you with criminal trespass.
Yes, Your Honor.
Senator's office to represent you on these charges, and did either counsel wish to be heard on condition?
No, Your Honor.
No.
All right, you're going to be released to the third-party custody pretrial services with their preliminary hearing date of September the 20th. You're not to have any contact with alleged victims except in compliance with Arizona landlord tenant law. You're not to return to the incident location except in compliance with Arizona landlord tenant law. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
I also have a misdemeanor citation. for assault.
Yes, Your Honor.
Your next court date on this is going to be September the 30th. At 8:30 in the morning. Will be released on your signature and failure to appear. Again, no contact with the alleged victim except through Arizona landlord-tenant law. And you don't return to the incident location except in compliance with Arizona landlord-tenant law. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. Beha. Now, if your attorney says you don't need to come to court, they're only talking about September the 20th. You still need to appear on the 30th. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, thank you.
These. Let's see on that time. Camera check. Our safe.
Good evening. I'm Judge Shade, and you, sir, are
Jerry Dees.
Mr. Dees, interim complaint charging you with possession of dangerous drugs, possession of paraphernalia.
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you. It appears that you are eligible. You may be eligible to participate in SMART court, which is a treatment court. If you comply
That'd be
with,
great.
you comply with that, the charges may be dismissed without ever being formally charged, or the charges may be reduced.
That'd be great.
And did you want to try to work through that?
I would.
And does counsel waive time for preliminary hearing?
Yes.
Somebody took my calendar. Hold on. How is October 17th, counsel? Let me count that out again. How about October 23rd?
That's fine.
All right. Your next court hearing is going to be next week, Tuesday. Excuse me, Monday, September the 9th at 9 a.m. in Pima County Superior Court. You understand you need to appear at that time.
I do.
Preliminary hearing at this time is set for October 23rd at 1:30. No alcohol or drugs, and you'll comply with treatment and monitoring as directed by pretrial services and the courts. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Dees.
This is big run. over here, buddy.
Timothy. See right there in that Jyman check.
Good evening, I'm Judge Shade, and you, sir, are
Timothy Engle?
Mr. Engle, in a complaint charging you with domestic violence aggravated assault.
Yes.
You'll appoint public defender's office to represent you on these charges, and did either counsel wish to be heard on conditions?
Your Honor, I would just note his violent felony DV convictions, the lethality assessment with these types of cases, and the presence of the NVCA flag as well.
And Your Honor, he's currently employed. He has stable housing. He has 2 daughters that he's financially supporting. I'd ask the court to consider release to pretrial services or set a bond of $3,000.
Preliminary hearing date September the 10th at 1:30. Bond is $25,000. If the bond is posted, then you'll be released to the third-party custody of pretrial services. No alcohol or illegal drugs. No acts of domestic violence, no firearms or weapons. No firearms in your residence or any vehicles that you're in. You're not to have contact with Alexis McCants. And you're not to go near her residence or workplace. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
If you have personal belongings, you can go there once with a police escort to obtain those belongings. And I'd suggest you not discuss the matter with anyone except your attorney.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Your Honor, I'm sorry, was there a court date on that?
September the 10th.
Okay.
Have a seat back down there, please. In the lower level.
Figueroa.
Good evening, I'm Judge Fayette, and you are?
Figueroa, Santiago.
Did you say Santiago Figueroa?
Yes.
Mr. Figueroa, I have a number of things here for you. I have a warrant out of Pima County Superior Court charging you with possession of dangerous drugs and possession of paraphernalia, alleged to have occurred on March the 26th. Will appoint public defender's office to represent you on these charges. Set a preliminary an arraignment date of September the 6th at 1:30. When did either counsel wish to be heard on conditions of release?
Your Honor, I would just note when he was released last time, he didn't keep in contact with pretrial.
And Your Honor, he's a lifelong resident of Tucson. These charges appear to be personal use drug charges in nature. Pretrial services verified with his mother that she can provide transport to court. I'd ask you set the bond at $500.
All right, bond will be $500, cash or secured. Pretrial services, if the bond is posted, behavioral health and substance abuse assessment and treatment while in custody or under the direction of pretrial services. I have 3 other matters for you. I have current charges for possession of paraphernalia. I'll appoint Amanda Bynum to represent you on this matter. On this charge, you'll be released, but your court date will be September the 3rd at 1 o'clock. Again, no alcohol or illegal drugs. And I have a warrant. For shoplifting, possession of paraphernalia, and failing to appear. Again, Amanda Bynum will be appointed to represent you on these charges. Bond will be $100. No alcohol, illegal drugs, and you don't go to that incident location. Then I have charges out of Tucson City Court. Domestic violence, criminal trespass, and 3 counts of domestic violence disorderly conduct alleged occurred on July 16th, 2022. Along with multiple failures to appear. We'll appoint Scott Redmond to represent you on these charges. Bond is $999. So your court date will be September the 11th at 1:30, whether you're in or out of custody. Thank you, Mr. Figueroa.
That's your court dates and such.
Meeting with Rob because of conflict. It wasn't just the two of you Smiths. And we're just not taking cases. That's why I went that way.
Your Honor, that last bond amount, was that $1,099?
No,
total?
$999 on the city court bond. $999.
Okay, thank you. Mina.
Good evening. I'm Judge Shade, and you, sir, are
Luis Mena.
Mr. Minute. Interim complaint.
Yes,
charging you with 3 counts of domestic violence, aggravated harassment. We'll appoint public defender's office to represent you on these charges, and at either counsel wish to be heard on conditions.
Your Honor, I struggled with this one because he doesn't have a history, but he's already been served with more than one court order, and I don't know how any other way there is to enforce those court orders than to make it clear than to set a bond.
And Your Honor, as Brad mentioned, he has no, Mr. Goodman mentioned, he has no criminal history. He's a 1 on the FTA and the NCA scale. He's a lifelong resident of Tucson and has ties to the community. I'd ask the court to consider release to pretrial services. If the court wants to impose a bond, I'd ask that it be $2,000.
Preliminary date September the 10th at 1:30. Bond is $7,500. If the bond is posted, you will be under the supervision of pretrial services. No alcohol, no illegal drugs, no acts of domestic violence, no firearms or witness. Assuming no firearms or weapons, no contact with the 3 alleged victims. You don't go back to that residence. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Within 3 blocks of that residence. Right?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Mena.
September 4th, quarterly, the jury report.
Oh, Jason.
Mugen? Fusion? Who is there? Back down there. Nguyen? This way. Have a seat right here, Mr.
Good evening, I'm Judge Shea, and you, sir, are
Nguyen.
Mr. Nguyen. Interim complaint charging with possession of dangerous drug for sale, possession or use of a weapon in a drug offense, possession of a weapon by a possessor, and possession of paraphernalia. We'll appoint public defender's office to represent you on these charges, and either counsel wish to be heard on conditions. Noting there
Your Honor,
is a DOC parole warrant hold.
That was in my bag.
Thank you, Your Honor. We are requesting the 15,000. He's not only on parole, he's also on felony probation as well. So given the nature of the offenses and both of those statuses, we are requesting that bond.
And Your Honor, he does have a DOC hold, so he's not being released at this time. I'd ask that the court set the bond at $10,000.
Preliminary hearing date September the 10th at 1:30. Bond is $10,000. If the bond is posted and the DOC hold is lifted, you'll be released to pretrial services. No alcohol, or drugs, no firearms or weapons. Behavioral health and substance abuse assessment and treatment. Thank you, Mr. Nanan.
Yes.
Sir, sign off.
Yes, I know. What is it? It's like doing.
Oliver.
Services for all of us, nothing, so they follow the board.
Oh, that's really a problem. Thanks. And I've noticed on several cases, there's no attorney box checked. And there should always be an attorney box checked on felonies.
I apologize, I
No. Good evening, I'm Judge Shea, and you, sir, are
Tyler Oliver.
Mr. Oliver. I have several things here for you. A warrant out of Pima County Superior Court, 2 counts of burglary, 1 count of theft, and 1 count of theft of means of transportation, alleged to have occurred on or about the 30th of June. Appoint public defender's office to represent you on these charges, and if either counsel wish to be heard on conditions.
Your Honor, I would just note, he was released, failed to keep in contact with pretrial, failed to appear, incurred a new felony charge. We believe the requested bonds are appropriate, and on the new dangerous drug violation case, we're requesting a smart hearing as well.
And Your Honor, he's a lifelong resident of Tucson and he has ties to the community. It looks like he had a prior felony conviction, but it was all the way back in 2005 and it was redesignated a misdemeanor. In regard to the warrant case, this warrant issued very recently on the 26th, so he has not been on warrant for a very long period of time. I'd ask the court set the bond at $3,000 on the warrant. In regard to the new charges, they are personal use in nature. I'd ask the court to set a $500 bond on the new charges.
With regard to the charges that are set for arraignment for September the 6th at 1:30, bond will be $7,500. If you post the bond, you'll be receiving pretrial services. No alcohol or illegal drugs, no contact with alleged victims. You don't go to the incident locations. Then we have new charges for possession of dangerous drugs. We'll set, appoint public defender's office, set a smart court hearing, treatment court hearing. If you want to proceed with that, are you interested in that? That could result in a reduction or dismissal of these drug charges.
Sure. Yeah, yes.
Smart court hearing will be September the 9th at 9 a.m. Council wish to waive?
Your Honor, given that he'll be held, I would ask for a standard 10-day PH date.
All right.
Okay, I'll come back.
Bond on these new charges is $2,500. No alcohol or illegal drugs. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Oliver.
Portillo.
I don't show paperwork in the, well, let me go back and refresh. Okay.
You didn't have Grace Lee? Who?
Good evening, I'm Judge Shade, and you, sir, are
Mario Portillo.
Leo, in a complaint charging you with theft of means of transportation. will appoint public defender's office to represent you on these charges, and did either counsel wish to be heard on conditions?
No, Your Honor.
No.
Preliminary date is going to be September the 20th at 1:30 in the afternoon. You will be released to the third-party custody of pretrial services. You'll participate in monitoring and treatment under their supervision, which is likely to include substance abuse treatment. You will not drive without a valid license. You'll have no contact with the alleged victims, and you won't return to the incident location. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
We also have charges charging you with driving or being in physical control of a motor vehicle while under the influence of intoxicating liquor or drugs. Your next court date on this is going to be October the 1st at 2:00 in the afternoon. Your attorney does not represent you on this charge. So if your attorney says you don't need to come to court, that's just September the 20th. You still need to be in city court on October the 1st. And again, no alcohol or illegal drugs, and you don't drive without a valid license. You understand that?
Ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes. As well.
Good evening. I'm Judge Shea, and you are
Angela Pruitt.
Puit. Looks like the state is dismissing the felony dangerous drug and possession of narcotics paraphernalia charges. That is a dismissal without prejudice, which means those charges may be refiled at another court date or at a subsequent time, not another court date.
Okay.
I have quite a stack of files here for you out of Tucson City Court.
Yes.
Current charges for possession of paraphernalia with criminal trespass.
Still.
Charges for possession of paraphernalia on July
Yes.
4th.
Okay.
I have charges for possession of paraphernalia on May the 16th. Failing to appear in court.
Okay.
Charges for possession of paraphernalia on May the 30th. Failure to appear in court.
Okay.
Criminal trespass, July 26th of 2021.
Yes.
Failing to appear in court.
I realize they're, I'm sorry. I've never had an issue before I ended up homeless.
Charges for criminal trespass, September the 6th of 2021. Failure to appear in court.
Yes, I get that. And I'm homeless, so it's hard for me to do this.
Charges for criminal trespass on February the 10th of 2022. Failing to appear in court. Possession of paraphernalia. on May 31st of 2022, failing to appear in court. In possession of paraphernalia on May 9th of 2023, failures to appear in court. What can I do to be sure you show up in court next time?
Living situation fixed by going through, the assistance programs that are available.
Are you willing to do that?
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Oh. Oh my God. Okay. Oh. Go.
I'm going to give you another chance, but there's things you need to do.
Okay,
No alcohol or drugs.
done.
You don't go back to between the 3,000 and 3,500 blocks of North First,
Okay,
707 East Fort Lowell to 801 East Fourth, or to any Circle K stores. Do you understand that?
uh-huh.
You need to work on
Why-
getting substance use assessment and treatment. And in order to help you with that and other needs, you need to report to Tucson City Court on Friday,
Okay,
September the 6th at 1:30 in the afternoon to go to community
All right.
court on the 6th floor. There will be service providers there that can help you.
all right.
All right.
Uh-huh. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Ms. Pruitt.
Thank you.
There you go.
Thanks.
Sure. Good for it.
And I don't have anything else. I don't know about you guys.
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a good night.
Thanks, you do. Need the forward back here to turn the system off. Stephanie? Sorry? We need your cohort back here to turn the system off. You need to go look for it? Well, it should